morning. How are you doing?
I'm very good, and you?
I'm good.
Thank you for coming to our studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy and excited to be hosted here at the Property Expert Kenya. Being someone who wants to, get into the real estate field, buy my own property, I thought that you guys are the best. And yeah, I've been seeing you guys online, and I thought maybe if I come here, I can be more enlightened to be able to make the right decisions.
Okay, great. I'm so grateful, and I really am truly humbled. I know this conversation has been not long overdue, but I know your schedule has also been quite busy.
Yeah.
So thank you for making the time.
Anytime.
All right, so maybe we can start with introductions.
Yes.
My name is Linda Gitao, popularly known as Keke Gitao. So I'm a property specialist and also a partner with the Property Expert Kenya and the Property Expert Africa.
Okay.
So our company encompasses on all facets of real estate. So we do property management, we help clients with property acquisition, we do property development. So what property development means is that we have people who buy land who would like us to help them acquire land and also build.
Wow.
So build for the purposes of to living or also to turn the construction or the development into a project that generates revenue, such as an agro business.
Yes.
Or a guest house.
Yeah.
So we have one example in Rongai. It's called Ubuntu Farms. So
I've heard
you've heard of Ubuntu Farms?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's one of our clients. So we built them a cottage and then we also build them greenhouses so that one, it gives the guests that visit the Ubuntu Farms an experience of Ushago in the city.
Yeah, interesting.
And also it gives you a perspective on what kind of returns you can generate from having one greenhouse, two greenhouses, and so on and so forth. And we also help a lot of clients in the diaspora acquire property in Kenya, as well as the Kenyans locally. Yes. So we have a market, an equal market of the Kenyan diaspora and the international diaspora, as well as our local market.
Okay. Maybe if I want to know if I've understood very well what property development is. Is basically me giving you the money and telling you what I want you guys to make for me.
Yes.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. I mean, there are people who see something online, like
Okay.
tiny homes. I don't know if you
Yes.
follow tiny homes. You find someone who sees tiny homes, they see a small cottage built of containers. They'll say, Linda, I have a small piece of farm in Diani, for instance, and I'd like to convert it into something that can generate me a revenue and also be a house I can live in when I'm in Kenya, because some people perhaps only come to Kenya twice a year. Or you're in Nairobi and you're from Mombasa, you're mostly in Nairobi, so you want the option of having a place to stay when you're in the coast, because you know accommodation is quite expensive, especially during the peak seasons when you want to take your family there. And then when you come back to Nairobi, that property also generates an income. Also, we have clients who, like you, will say, I don't have a piece of land. This is the money I have. I have 5 million, I have 2 million, I have 10 million, depending on your capacity. Find me a piece of land and build me a construction that looks like this. And this is the purpose of what I want you to build. Maybe I want to live in, or I want to convert it into a commercial space, and so on and so forth.
Wow. So I do understand that you've been in the field for a while now.
Yes.
Maybe how is the property market, currently?
So the property market currently is very interesting, I must tell you, Ali. Kenya has really grown in terms of even the kind of developments that you're seeing. And I think when you drive around, you can see that things are starting to be at par with the international standards. But what I want to speak on is why Kenya?
Why Kenya?
Kenya is right in the heart of Africa. We are 4 hours away from West Africa, 4 hours away from Southern Africa, and 4 hours away from Northern Africa.
Wow.
So we are quite centrally located. The weather in Kenya is quite favorable compared to other regions. And Kenyans are a friendly and gentle people. So Kenya is a multicultural society. Kenya has white sandy beaches, but we can also give you a desert experience. When you drive the road to Chalbi Desert right now, it's tarmacked. Right? So now when we develop our country like that and we sell our country like that, we start to attract very good investors and very good developers and people that partner with the Property Expert Kenya and the Property Expert Africa to compete internationally.
Yeah.
So the market trends that you're seeing right now is you're seeing a lot of Kenyans who are buying property to convert to Airbnb business because that is what is booming right now, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon.
Oh, really?
No, because the client has changed.
Okay.
The client that wants to visit Nairobi temporarily, whether they come to visit a family or they've come to invest or they've come for tourist purposes, is not necessarily wanting to stay in a hotel.
Yes.
The hotel has its own clientele, so the hotel business is not dying anytime soon.
Okay. So it's not been affected anyway?
I would say the hotel industry and the Airbnb industry are complementary of each other.
Okay.
You know, so it's not all the time that you find a guest wants to stay at an Airbnb for whatever reason. Right? It really depends on why the client is in Kenya.
Yes.
So Kenyans, us, we are buying property to wanting a quick ROI, a quick return on investment, because you don't want to tie a whole 10 million, 20, 30 million on a project that's going to only return in 10 years.
Yeah,
10 years.
true.
COVID taught us that 10 years is too
it's
long.
A long time.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's where the market trends are going. People want quick return on investment.
Yes.
They want to deal with trustworthy estate agents as well as developers.
Yes.
Because you know what has been happening previously where people invested their money with developers who never completed the projects on time, and some actually didn't take off.
Wow.
And some people are still in court today.
Yeah.
So those are the things that influence and affect the market trends. Also, you're finding people, Kenyans and also people in the diaspora, non-Kenyans, who are looking to, one, convert their properties into a business, convert their properties into an agro business, and also convert their properties into spaces where not only you can live, but when you are not around, your family and friends can also occupy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you mentioned that Kenya is centrally located. It gives you all types of experiences. It means that it's rapidly growing.
Yes.
What areas would you say that are growing, very fast, in terms of, property investment?
So the areas that I'm seeing a lot of growth, and especially for the Airbnb business, is the Kilimani, Kileleshwa, Lavington, Westlands, Parklands areas.
Yeah.
I'm also seeing huge growth in areas like Ruaka, and in Ruaka right now we are seeing very interesting developments coming up.
Yeah.
Very well furnished, international standards, also to attract that expatriate that might work at the UN, or someone who wants to be close to that expatriate community because maybe that's their client. So we're seeing very good developments in those areas. We're seeing a lot of growth in Diani as well. A lot of foreigners and Kenyans are starting to buy. I'm getting a lot of requests from the international diasporans on spaces in Malindi. Malindi has been known to be a sleepy town, but there's also a lot of, as the Italians are leaving, there's also a big number of people who are coming on and are interested. I know Naomi Campbell bought her villa not too long ago. Well, it's a couple of years ago, and such. We're seeing also Kenyans developing in areas such as Joska, Molo, those areas, because you're not too far from Nairobi, and also you're not in the concrete jungle. You can actually literally build yourself a beautiful home and enjoy the sunset without these skyscrapers. So the skyscrapers are a disadvantage and an advantage. Yes.
And maybe looking at those areas, what would you say is making the areas grow? Because is it their proximity to town? Is it the weather? Is it the climate? Is it the land rates?
For Kilimani, Kileleshwa, Lavington, Westlands, Parklands area, Riverside as well,
Yeah.
it's really because of a lot of social amenities that are available.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to live in these areas because they're close to everything that you can think of, from schools to hospitals to shopping centers. Yeah, so closeness to social amenities is a key. Also, people, the middle class in Kenya has risen, and a lot of people are wanting to live with neighbors in the same economic bracket.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so less of the, I don't want to call them ghettos, but people want to move to the upper side of Nairobi.
Yes.
Why? Because if you are in business, you also want to live near your customer.
True.
You know, you're more likely, if you're selling a property or if you're selling a service or an IT product that's worth 10 million, 100 million, you want to live next to someone you know who's able to buy.
Yeah, true.
You know, so some of those things influence why some of these areas are, you know, coming up very quickly. Also for foreigners, this area becomes favorable because they also seem like people like them.
Yeah,
like Mzungu is not going to go and live in the middle of nowhere where he sticks out like a sore thumb. You know, so yes.
Okay, and I'm also interested to know, I read an article somewhere online saying that, the current prices, for property in Kenya could be somewhere in top 10 when you look at the, world map. What are the current price rates like, and what do you think are some of the things that are influencing the current price rates?
Honestly, property in Kenya is expensive. I mean, if you compare a property of the same value if you bought in South Africa and in Kenya, in South Africa you get more value for money than you would in Kenya. Yes, you will even get a tennis court, a basketball court. Where we lived in South Africa, we had 3 swimming pools, we had a tennis court, we had a clubhouse, we had 2 restaurants in the estate where we lived there, a golf course, but if we compare that same development in Kenya, that becomes extremely expensive. So there's some certain factors that have affected the pricing. One, perhaps, land rates, and also Kenya being the hub of the region, it becomes very popular, so the demand goes up.
Let's also look at probably someone. You said that you also have diaspora clients.
Yes.
I know people, from the diaspora, and most of them normally want to buy property here in Kenya, and they are always, skeptical. They're always 50-50, because we've had incidences of people saying, I gave my family money to buy property, to buy me land, to build my house, but then when I came back, I realized that they didn't build anything. As the property expert Kenya, what do you guys do to give those people in the diaspora confidence?
Yeah, it's such a sad situation, because every one of our clients, I mean it when I say it, every single client that we have handled has been conned before. Some for as high as 50 million, others from as low as 200,000. Even 10,000 is too much when it's not going towards the purpose where it's intended. So for us, our assurance is, and we pride ourselves in that. Process is transparent. We will take you to the development. We will take you to if you're buying an apartment, we will introduce you to the developer. We will not only introduce you to credible developers who have been in Kenya for a long time and have completed other projects on time and handed over on time. And it's not even just about the completion. You also want a project that has good quality finishings, because when a project is completed poorly, what happens in 2 years, your house starts to fall apart. Then you have to dip in your pocket to start renovating, and we've seen that happening countless times. Right. So when it comes to land acquisition, we try as much as possible to make the process as transparent as possible, where we scrutinize the title deeds, we do the land search ourselves, we go to the actual property, we consult the neighbors to find out that who is the actual owner, and do our due diligence, because our client is not always able to do these things because they're not on ground.
Yeah.
Either you're not in Kenya or you're working a full-time job like yourself, so you don't really have that time. And that's the reason why most people shy away from investing, because when you look at the vigorous process of vetting, you'll be like, I don't have that time to do that. I don't have time to go to Diani or to go to Malindi to go and confirm that that land belongs to Mr. Mohammed.
Yes.
You know, so that we do for you. We have handled a number of clients whom we are always willing for them to speak to our potential buyers as referrals and explain to them how the process has been.
Wow, I think that's interesting. It gives us the confidence, you know.
Yes.
And probably maybe I've already engaged with you guys, and I've bought myself, you know, land. I mean property. Let's say for residential, for commercial. For example, Airbnb per se. What does the ROI look like?
So the ROI for Airbnb depends on the size of the unit. So the most popular units in the Airbnb market are 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, because the people that come to Kenya alone are more than those that come in groups, because it's even cheaper to travel when you're alone than to travel with your family. Studios 1 and 2 beds are the most popular because that attracts a wider client.
Yes.
It's a client who is coming to Nairobi from other parts of Kenya for a business meeting or leisure. Africans who are coming from our neighboring countries for business or leisure or school or sometimes hospital, and also an international market who's coming. We have digital nomads, and we also have people that just come for leisure. So for an ROI for 1 bedroom, you're looking at, you can easily make 150,000 to 180,000 per month.
Wow.
If you've bought that property at 4 million when it's off plan, 4.5 or 4, between 4 to 5 million, you can recover your ROI within 5 years.
Okay, 5 years is not bad.
Yeah.
We said 10 is a lot.
10 is too long. And also, it depending on, you see, the Airbnb market is lucrative and it excites me. Why? Because I've seen simple people making a passive income from their office, you know? So you furnish your unit well, you make sure that the unit is in a good location, you make sure that your unit has good amenities. Those amenities are what will attract your customer, and then you put the price according to the market. You make sure that your property features on all platforms, and these days the platforms are so many. You have TripAdvisor, you have Airbnb, you have Booking.com, you have Travelgo, and so many Kayak. You have so many platforms. If you make sure that your property features on all these places, and then you have a social media presence, you have an Instagram page, you have a TikTok page, you're showing your client what the property actually looks like. So gone are the days when you just take shoddy, shady pictures and hope that you're going to get a client. No. The client is a digital client. The client will scrutinize your video to see how the bedrooms look like, how the beddings look like, how the kitchen looks like, how it, you know, if it's well set up, well lit. Do I have a view? You know, is there stable internet? Can I go to the gym if I'm in Kenya for 2 weeks, or if I'm in Nairobi from Mombasa for 2 weeks? I want to be able to go to the gym, you know. So so the return is quite, in the Airbnb space, you can easily return your ROI in 5 years.
I'm also interested to know what's more profitable between, you know, owning your Airbnbs and, you know, doing Airbnb arbitrage, whereby like get many clients who are BNBs and, you know, you're marketing for them.
Either way, you will make money. Owning your own just gives you the leverage to do whatever it is that you want with your unit, and also attract a wider audience. Unless you're managing these properties exclusively yourself, and nobody else is involved in that process, but that also puts a huge burden on your head, because you need to make sure that this property is booked all the time. You know, so for me, I always advise my clients, spread out your property, let multiple of agents manage it for you, so that you're guaranteed occupancy. There's different ways on how to leverage of the Airbnb business. You can rent and convert the unit into an Airbnb.
Okay.
So what you just need to make sure is the landlord is aware that this is what you want to do with their unit.
Yes.
And then bring it up to standard. Make sure that the furniture is good, the internet is good, the amenities are there, the closeness to social amenities are there,
yes.
that the building is quiet, well maintained. Those are the things that sell. If you want to go into Airbnb management like we do, then there's a lot more work to be done, because our client wants to see transparency, because most of the time the Airbnb that we manage, our clients work a 9 to 5, and some of them are not even in Kenya. So how sure am I as a client that hautanipatia stories, oh, you know, we haven't had clients at your unit while that unit has been busy.
Yes.
When you go back to Mombasa and you ask the security guard, nasikia business imekuwa down, they're telling you hapana, business imekuwa tu sawa.
Yes. Yeah.
But wewe upati hiyo ndo,
you know.
Yeah. So transparency is very important. Giving our clients the reports is very important. Just giving them visibility to their footwork into their unit.
Yeah.
So either way is lucrative. Whether you want to go into managing, just know that managing requires more responsibility, because you need to ensure at least 80% occupancy. If you rent an Airbnb and convert it, if you rent a unit and convert it to an Airbnb, consider those factors that I've mentioned. And also, marketing is upon you. And it's not that difficult to market your units, because we not only have those platforms, but you also have internal WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups where we push content too. So if I showed you one group, I think the one group on Telegram has over 10,000 people. And
that's crazy.
It's crazy. When you go in there, utaona, I'm looking for a one bed, anatumiwa, and we transact like that. And even there you need to be careful, because of course con men come into such spaces, you know. So vetting is very important. But either way, the Airbnb business is lucrative, whether you're buying to convert, or you're renting to convert, or you're managing.
Wow. Still in property development, I want to understand the mortgage rates, the available financing options, and would you recommend that, let's say someone doesn't have exact enough money, let's say they have half of the money and they're looking at financing options?
Okay, mortgage is my least favorite.
Okay.
Because the interest rates are extremely high. In fact, with the mortgage, you're looking to return your ROI in over 10 years.
Wow.
10, 15 years. To me, that's not a lucrative investment. So what I'd advise then is, if you're looking to buy a development, an apartment, it's cheaper to buy off plan. Buy an off-plan unit. Off-plans are always cheaper. Buy from a credible developer. You'll come to people like us and we'll refer you to a credible developer. These Chinese developers only require 20-30% deposit.
Okay.
So you pay that 30% deposit, the balance is paid upon completion. So say the unit is completing in 2 years.
Okay.
You pay a 30% deposit now. However you decide to structure the payment, we will just make sure, if they said handover is August 2027, by August 2027, your balance should be zero for you to be able to receive your key, for you to be able to convert furnish your unit and put it into the market. For me, if you ask me, that's the easiest way of acquiring property. If you go the bank route, you're going to dip into your pocket for a long time.
The rates are high?
They're crazy high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still at the B&B businesses, and maybe you talked about maintenance, and I do understand it's a cost. Maybe are there other costs that maybe someone who's getting into the business should really look at before deciding whether to get into it?
Not a lot of costs. The one that is critical is the cleaning. Because this business is so sensitive, our clients are so sensitive in that, we almost 60% depend on referral clients, return clients, because the word of mouth is stronger than anything you can think of. Now, if you came to my unit and you found the beddings that you checked in and they were used, there's makeup, the dustbin is full of things that I don't want to talk about, and it's dirty, you're more likely to tell your friend who's going to tell their friend who's going to tell their friend to not book that unit. Hata utanipatia second chance, and you shouldn't, because it's not acceptable. So for me, I always say incur the cost of a cleaner. Pay that lady 15k, 10k a month, every month, whether there's guests there or not, so that they can make sure that that unit is always cleaned, whether there's a guest or not. And I tell you why. When you leave your unit empty and it's not being cleaned for a long time, it's bound to degrade. It's bound to go down. Let her make sure that everything is always working. So those are the costs, like, costs of cleaner, cost of internet, cost of things like gas, and also depending, if you're getting a monthly client, you can structure your monthly rates in a way that it caters for the gas. Electricity, of course, if the client is staying over a month, they'll have to pay themselves. But if it's those short-term clients, then you buy the tokens for them.
How about when you are setting up? Are there any like legal fees?
Legal fees, well, no, because you're going, the big chunk of your investment when you're setting up, and especially if you're renting, is going to be the deposit. Because most owners will require 2 months deposit, 1 month rent. So if one Airbnb in Valley Arcade area is 70,000, you're looking at 70,000 times 3. And then now, furnishing a 1 bedroom, you're looking at a minimum of 800 to $1 million, because of the appliances, the beddings, the curtains, the dining tables, the everything, to just make it cozy and suitable for the business. So those are the huge chunks of cost.
Let's talk about the ownership regulations. Maybe for foreigners who are coming to Kenya and they've decided, like, I don't want to live in a B&B. I want to own my own property. I want to buy my own apartment, a unit in an apartment. Is it possible, first of all?
Yes, it's very possible. I'm actually working with our legal team to write us a document on the process of acquiring property in all the African countries that we have a footprint in. Because we have clients that are interested in buying in Botswana, in Kenya, in Tanzania, very popular at the moment, in Zambia. So I'm not going to answer that question until, if you don't mind, until my lawyers have really broken down on all the nitty-gritties that entail a foreigner into purchasing a property.
But it is something that...
Oh yes, it's possible. Oh yes, and our laws, in fact, our ownership laws in Kenya are better than most African countries. Yes, in that you're able to buy a property as a foreigner without needing a Kenyan to co-sign. So we have clients who are interested in buying property in the rest of Africa, and that's why we have Property Experts Africa. So we're going to do a detailed document and process of all the requirements. But I can tell you right now, Kenya is amongst those African countries with the easiest of laws. For foreigners purchasing property in Kenya.
I think I've learned a lot today on the Property Expert Kenya, and one thing that I like to know, maybe before we wind up, is what does the future look like, for the, for in the industry?
The future is exciting, I must tell you. Kenya is growing. It's a pity that we're doing this video right in the middle of the protest. But all I want to say is, and you and I both know, that we love this country dearly, and Kenya has great potential. Kenya, and I'm praying that the Kenya Tourism Board and all the stakeholders involved that come on board and we push the brand Kenya as aggressively as Rwanda is doing. And if you really look, and I'm not comparing because it's not apples to apples, but Kenya has a lot more to offer than Rwanda. You know what I mean? So I foresee a lot of growth. I foresee a lot more foreign local as well as diaspora investors investing more in Kenya. I feel like our investor has become more confident now, whether they live in Kenya or in the diaspora. Why? Because of the rise of credible developers, because of the rise of credible property companies such as ours. You know, where you're hearing less and less of cases of people being duped. You know, you're hearing less and less of people buying land that is owned by another 3 people and they have vigorous court cases. I mean, all I'm asking from our investors, yourself included, that you do your due diligence, that when a deal is too good, it's probably a fraud. That you consult as much as possible, that you involve professionals in your constructions. When you cut corners, you will come back here to tell a very bitter story about the real estate space. I know a lot of people say hiring professionals is expensive. You don't want to hire a professional architect, you don't want to hire a professional quantity surveyor. But at the end of the day, and I'm not discrediting family, because we have family members who've actually assisted their families to build. But I'm saying, even when you're involving your family, ensure that they involve a professional so that things are done to the T from the beginning. Yes.
And do you give us, like, if I'm partnering with you or if I'm working with you, will I be able to get the property lawyers, the surveyors from your site?
Yes. So we work with a group of lawyers, we work with a group of contractors, we work with architects, we work with, did I say quantity surveyors, right across the board. So we'll make sure that in every way you're handled professionally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think I've learned a lot and I would say I am ready to buy.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm really looking forward and I'm looking forward to walking this journey with you. And I hope and pray that it will be a pleasurable experience, a profitable experience. One, you know, property buying is it's almost a lifetime investment. Yeah. So let's purpose to buying property that will give us a good return on investment, that even when time comes that you want to dispose of that property, that it would have grown in terms of value.
Yes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Asante.
All right. Cheers.